Wolves 0, Arsenal 1. Very disappointing result, very disappointing performance. I think when the starting lineup came out, you see Marcel, Dendoncker, even Trincao to an extent. You know, you're not filled with confidence. And I've got something to say about Marcel as well, because listening on the radio and coming in, and people around me, they're all saying that, you know, you understand why he's playing Marcel, because he's defensively better than Aït-Nouri. I must be missing something, because Aït-Nouri this season, he's pocketed Salah. He's been brilliant defensively. I really don't think he gets caught out. So that's a strange one. Overall, you know, it's obviously a disappointing result. We do need a little bit of perspective here. You know, we are playing Arsenal. They are a good side. They are ultimately above us in the table. But, you know, it's hard not to feel that we could have done more to win the game. It's just creating chances. We're not doing it enough. Yeah, you just feel like we could have played all night and we wouldn't have scored. Dendonker's going to get a lot of hate, and ultimately I do agree. The one thing I will say is that it's frustrating, because he actually gets into some really good positions, but it's just that finishing touch, and he's not the only one. It just absolutely deserts him. But yeah, you know, we move on. It's going to be a massive month for us. We knew what we were going into. We knew we didn't have a lot of resources. Spurs away is huge, and I think, famous last words, on paper it's probably an easier game than Arsenal at the moment, to be honest, the way they're playing. Hopefully Moutinho's back, because we obviously missed him, and I feel like Neves missed him a lot as well. So yeah, really frustrating. Haven't seen the goal back. Really poor to concede from a corner like that, though. Looked really scruffy. But yeah, not too negative. You know, Twitter's going to be a bit toxic for a few days, but that's standard when Wolves lose, isn't it, I suppose. But we move on to Spurs.
Oh, well, we huffed and puffed, but it wasn't to be. Start with the team selection. Not really sure why Marcel started. Perhaps it's to give a bit more defensive solidity. Maybe to rest Aït-Nouri for Sunday, but if it's the former, don't really understand it, because Marcel, I don't think he won a tackle for however long he played. Much preferred to see Aït-Nouri there. I think playing Saïss was a correct call. I thought he was excellent tonight. Looked, you know, just slotted back in fantastically. The midfield, you could tell, was missing Moutinho, but what can Lage do? He hasn't got the players, he hasn't been backed. Which again is frustrating, but there's no point me or anyone else keep harping on about it. It's never going to change, I don't think. And then Donker came in and flattered to deceive a little bit for me. Still, I don't think he's that great of a midfielder. That's my feelings. I don't think he's got the awareness. I don't think he's robust enough. And squandered a couple of good chances as well, but probably say they're half chances more than anything. Good to see Trincao back in the team. Retained the ball well. I think he gave us a lot more balance, a bit more direct tonight, but final ball wasn't great. First half, I think Arsenal did a job on us. I really think I don't think we played necessarily badly. We just struggled to break them down, and they looked far the better side. I've not seen the goal back yet. I've only just got back, so I can't comment on that. But it's another goal from a set piece, where we've not conceded from one all season. In the last 3 or 4 games, we've conceded from set pieces, so that's got to improve. Got to try and iron those flaws out. Second half, started a little bit off the ball again, but the sending half changed the game. We created a lot of chances, but none of them really clear cut. I don't know what the issue is. It's hard to pinpoint. I don't think Jimenez is up to the standard that he once was. I think that's plain and simple to see. I don't think people want to call that out. I get that. He's playing a completely different role. He's dropping deeper, but I don't think he links the play that well. He's quite slow on the turn. I don't know, but there's no other options. Silva, you know, he's a young lad, and despite what you may think of him, he costs £35 million, yada yada yada. But is he going to come in and do a better job than Jimenez? I don't know. I feel like they're a little bit too similar. And Lage wanted a bigger striker in January, and he wanted one in the summer. And that game tonight was a game for a big striker, because I think that's Jimenez's second headed attempt all season. Now, I don't think that's because he's not going up for headers. I just don't think we're committing enough men in the box. 30 odd crosses tonight as well. We could have played all night, and I don't think we would have scored. But we're lacking that cutting edge. We've been saying it all season. We've scored barely any goals. And I think that's what's probably going to cause us, not problems, but with the reason why we haven't qualified for Europe or the Conference League this season. I think it'll be mid-table, which I think is reflective of the players we've got. Elijah's doing an amazing job. It's just a shame he wasn't backed, but we move on to Sunday. Arsenal did a job tonight, fair play. They defended resolutely. We move on to Sunday. It's going to be a really tough game. February's a massive month and not a great start.
So, Wolves 0, Arsenal 1, and a pretty disappointing result coming off the back of the Norwich performance, which was, of course, pretty lacklustre. A lot of excitement going into today's game. Obviously, a huge chance for us to capitalise on other teams dropping points to push for top 4, and we just didn't take it. It's a similar story to what we've had over previous seasons, where we've had the chance to just claw ourselves into that conversation, and yet again, I think we've missed out on a massive chance today against an underperforming Arsenal side that have been out of sorts recently, struggled for goals, and I just thought we were off it today. I actually thought that the selection was wrong, which is maybe one of the only few times really where I've had a few qualms with what Bruno Lage has decided. I thought that the selection of Marçal was just not the right decision. I think Aït-Nouri has been superb. I don't know whether he was carrying a bit of a knock. We weren't told, but he was on the bench, so I assume he was fit. And of course, Marçal struggling with injury towards the end of the first half. I thought he was poor today. I thought with Neves and Dendoncker as a midfield pair, it didn't work. I think Neves was just doing pretty much all the work himself. I think Dendoncker had another absolute stinker of a performance. I mean, the drop-off that Dendoncker has had in particular is crazy, because the first season he came in, first season and a half, I thought he was actually a very solid midfield option for us, but the past 2 seasons he's just been absolutely atrocious. Offers nothing of any value to the side. He can't pass. He struggles to close down players. His anticipation is abysmal, defensively and offensively. He's not very good in the air for someone who's so big as well. So you sort of scratching your head thinking, why on earth, is he still in the side? And the question is just a lack of depth in central midfield, which is what we said we needed in the window. Again, I'm not going to hark on about the window because it's closed, but that lack of depth in central midfield, again, biting us on the backside. Luke Cundle, can he do any worse? I really don't think so. I thought that maybe he's probably in with a shout just because of how poor Dendoncker was today. I thought Trincao was especially poor. I thought that he, again, too lightweight, pushed off the ball too easily. He had a couple of good moments where he got past a couple of players, but his crosses were either too weak or too strong. So, it's not really a good balance. I thought the officiating today as well was pretty poor. Even though, of course, Arsenal did get a player sent off, and I did actually think that was good refereeing by Michael Oliver. I thought overall it was a very stop-start game. I thought Arsenal were going down a lot. I know that we've been guilty of doing that as well this season, so I guess we can't really complain. But I did think that Arsenal were particularly bad for it. Even when I've watched us play, we haven't been that soft. And I'll be honest, I thought Arsenal were very, very bang average today. And I think that's what's frustrating, really, is that this is a game we could have won. Really, really could have won. Under previous seasons, I think that those are the games that we took to the big teams and got the points. So disappointing in that regard as well. The final product, again, today, just non-existent. I mean, there was a chance at the end where Fabio's bursting into the penalty area and then he tries to play it across goal. No idea why. He had the chance to shoot. He didn't shoot. And again, that kind of sums us up. And Raul Jimenez, as much as I love him and as much as I've wanted him to come back to full fitness, he's looked off it this season. He had a few good glimpses in this game, to be fair, where his link-up play was good. And we had some really good moments of one-touch football. And in the second half, obviously, we dominated possession. But let's be honest, we could have played 180 minutes and not scored, which is the main frustration, is the lack of goals. We've known that all season. It's nothing new. It's been a concern of ours since the Nuno days, really, is that we've never really scored enough goals, and we haven't replaced the output of Doherty and Jota when it comes to just raw numbers. So again, the lack of final product was a disappointment. I thought once Arsenal were down to 10 men, it was always going to be difficult because they're going to put an extra body in defence. and leave themselves with no real space. But in terms of other positives, Chiquinho looked really good. When he came on, I thought he made a lot of difference down the right-hand side, a lot of energy, and was able to get the ball quite often and look dangerous, and was a lot more physical as well. So plenty of promise with him. But yeah, again, just not great. Poor marking for the goal as well. Again, Connor Cody and Dendoncker, I think, could have done better in anticipating Gabriel's run. But look, it's one of those. Another off day. The manager of the month curse has hit us. So are we too surprised? I don't know. There's still plenty of points to play for, though. We still do play teams in and around our positions in the table. So still plenty of points to fight for, and we've still got a chance of going for Europe. So it's not season over yet. Well, it's not season over now. We've still got a chance.
So Wolves 0, Arsenal 1 at Molineux tonight. Bad result for Wolves that. At home, you think full house behind you after the absolute shit show on Saturday that Wolves produced in the FA Cup getting knocked out. You'd have thought there'd be a big reaction tonight from the players. Trincao back in the team. João Moutinho having to drop out due to an injury. And there wasn't really one, was there? In the second half, huffed and puffed, but couldn't break a 10-man Arsenal team down for the last half an hour, which is really worrying for Wolves. Like, if people have aspirations of Wolves finishing in European places this season, you have to be able to put the ball at the back of the net more than once in a game. And Wolves can't even seem to be able to do it once in a game. Like, the attacking play from Wolves recently in every game, even the games against Brentford with Man United, which we won, the attacking play was poor from Wolves in every sense of the word. Raul Jimenez, better tonight, I thought, but he just moved the ball with his feet well, but no end product. Same with Podence, same with Trincao, same with all the Wolves players, really. A damaging first half goal, really, from a corner. Gabriel taps it in, but from my view, in the Billy Wright, I saw straight in Sa going, holding himself down, like on the ground, after Lacazette pummels straight into him. I get out, I see it back, and Lacazette just does go straight through Jose Sa and doesn't make any contact with the ball at all. Now, we're not here to go, oh, the referee this, referee that. Wolves lost the game tonight. You probably could say deservedly, depending on your persuasion. But I think that was a foul. Like, honestly, Lacazette goes straight through Sa, doesn't make any contact with the ball, and then Gabriel behind him just taps it in to what was an empty net and gave Arsenal the goal that won them the game. But after Martinelli hit out at Podence and then dragged Chiquinho down, who I thought was a really, really bright spark tonight for Wolves, and again last Saturday as well. I think he's a really positive player that loves to take on a defender and run at them, as something with which we got rid of a couple of weeks ago to Barcelona. But hopefully he'll be able to try and replicate some of what Traore did produce for Wolves. But Martinelli getting sent off for that. Wolves had half an hour to go at them. Cody should have come off for Fabio Silva straight away. I don't know why he didn't come off straight away. And Wolves should have gone to the 4-4-2 then. But it just took Wolves. They started to panic after the red card. They just started to go when there was still half an hour left to maybe have some good approach plays. The most amount of crosses they put in for 4 years in the Premier League in a single match. None of them coming to anything, a scramble towards the end, but no real moment where you go, oh, Wolves, you have to score. Again, centre midfield, Wolves are short in that area. Wolves were short in that area. The board knew that in January, but nothing came of it. Got rid of one of our best players, and not only we kind of replaced him, I don't know if you could say that, with Chiquinho, but we didn't get area addressed, which was a centre midfield area addressed, and we have 3 fit ones in there at the moment, 2 of which play tonight. Moutinho didn't play tonight. Dendoncker in the middle with Neves, and Dendoncker trying to run the midfield with Neves. He's just not good enough. Wolves needed to sign a centre mid, and they didn't. And that's going to cost them ultimately, I think, in the run in this season. If they are to have any hope of getting into Europe, Wolves have to score more goals in games. It really is as simple as that. They have to put the ball in the back of the net, and they just seem so incapable of doing so. And when Wolves concede the first goal in games, you really feel like they're going to lose it, because the just inability to put the ball in the net. Wolves' ability to defend after they take the lead is absolutely brilliant, but when Wolves go behind, they just can't find that bit of firepower, and well, I think that could cost Wolves towards the end of this season. The highest I think anyone can hope for is 7th or 6th, really, to be honest, because we're not coming top 5, not with our lack of goals and lack of creativity, really, in the team. Hopefully when Neto comes back, we can have something added to that area, and Hwang back from injury as well. Good to see Johnny back on the bench tonight after 10 months away, and why Aït-Nouri didn't start ahead of Marçal as well, I don't know. But yeah, disappointing defeat for Wolves at home to Arsenal, who celebrated like they won the league at the end of the game. They're going nowhere fast either. They're a mediocre side with a bad manager as well. Did a number on us tonight though, fair play to them, but they're not coming in the top 4, I can promise you that. But yeah, final score at Molineux. Hopefully we'll have a reaction against Tottenham at the weekend, but tonight it was Wolves 0, Arsenal 1.